Have a look at this.
You need to get around to the co-op. Honestly, there's just been a fight round there because people are trying to stop the shoplifters that you're doing nothing about. There's a member of the public just been assaulted by a 15-year-old girl who's drunk, had a drink thrown in her face, got punched. People have called the police. We come round here and you're sitting here. I know you're not, but the sight of the car will make them scatter. And you're afraid to deal with it then? It kind of is the point. That's the perception. That's just cowardice. No, it is. I'm afraid it is. This is the whole reason these problems exist. That's a pretty poor attitude, I'm afraid.
Again, you have your opinion, I have mine.
Wow. That's disappointing.
Well, you might.
I have to say, it's a very polite exchange, and for want of a better phrase, the driver of the other car who's informing the community support officer was firm, but he was at no point did he lose it. The PCSO was heard saying in that clip, "I'm not a response unit, and then I'll have to deal with it. Well, if I go there and sort it, I'll have to end up dealing with it." Well, it's kind of the point, I think. Sussex Police have launched an investigation. The role of the PCSO was introduced in 2002 to support police neighbourhood policing teams. They do not have powers of arrest, cannot interview prisoners or carry out high-risk tasks of police officers, which may be the point the officer was trying to make. They may use reasonable force to prevent a person from making off while waiting for a constable or accompanying them to a police station. Have you been let down in this kind of way? Have you ever seen anything like this that has kind of confirmed exactly what this particular member of the public was going through there? 0344 499 1000. Let's speak with Norman Brennan, former police officer, director of the Law and Order Foundation. Afternoon to you, Norman. I mean, whatever way one sits on this, and we'll get your specific views in a moment, it's an extraordinary video to look at.
It is. Let me just make it explicitly clear that a police community support officer does have a power of arrest under the Police Reform Act 2002, as amended in 2007. A police community support officer has similar arrest powers to that of the police under Section 24A of the Police and Criminal Evidence Act 1986. They also have a power of arrest under Section 3 of the Criminal Law Act 1967. Plus, they have common law powers of arrest similar to that of the public. Whereas the public are not advised of their powers, police and community support officers, via their training, like police officers, are advised of what their powers are. Going back to the video in question, it's appalling. It's dreadful where a member of the public sees what they perceive to be a police officer, or in this case, a community police officer, sitting in a marked police vehicle with blue lights on the top, and nothing is done. Well, something should have been done, and a PCSO has the right in law and part of their duty to detain shoplifters. They have a right and a duty to attend the calls from a member of the public. Whereas a community police support officer is advised to stand back is where there is serious violence. Often a shoplifter won't offer violence. They may resist a bit, but a police community support officer has the power, as I've just indicated, in many acts to detain a person, and they can detain a person until a warranted police officer attends and then takes over the arrest. I did it many times, and we had some outstanding police community support officers in my force. I recall one where a man was detained with a knife. I just booked on duty, got the urgent call from 2 PCSOs that detained and actually handcuffed the suspect. 4 forces have handcuffs. Some are allowed to carry even ASPs and drive response vehicles. So my caveat to all of this, it's a dreadful look. It's awful. The traction that it has actually received has gone widespread around the country and reinforces in many people's belief that the police or police community support officers don't care, which is far from the real truth. But this doesn't say that, does it?
I'm sure all of that is true, Norman. There is one point in the video where the cop or the support officer seems to say that's why I'm here and not there. And some people have taken from that he knew there was something going on around the corner and had already seen it and decided not to be there. We can't prove any of that, but what we do know is that the member of the public having the conversation did say something on the lines in an extended version of that video. Well, even if you just drove round there, the presence of your police car might be enough to deter something.
Well, if you're going to be a police community support officer who work very closely with warranted officers and you're sitting in a police vehicle, you are qualified to drive that vehicle. You're not necessarily qualified to drive it with blue lights, but unless he's dealing with a sudden death or a very serious incident, which in general a warranted police officer would do, get your backside into gear. You listen to the member of the public, you reassure them that you've listened to their concern, you've listened to their complaint, and you're going to act upon it. The minimum he should have done was said, I will call for immediate backup. I will ensure that a police officer or attend the call that you have just identified to me. That member of the public would have said, thank goodness something was done. But to listen to that clip is disgraceful, and I truly hope that Sussex Police Constabulary actually re-advise all of their PCSOs that when a member of the public comes up to them, and I'm sure the majority of PCSOs would adhere and support that member of the public, that's exactly what you do. You give them that support. It's what you're paid for.